I had been running for a very long time. In fact, I had been running for 2,862 miles, and I needed to pee. I put one foot in front of the other and looked around. Where was I? Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, and sized up my options. How did I even get here? I've always been driven to tackle the biggest, hardest, highest, longest thing in front of me. And after years of dreaming, planning, and training, I was 2 days away from a goal that had grown to permeate my entire imagination. I was running across the United States of America. I had left San Francisco 45 days ago, and I was on world record pace to arrive in New York City. But I had an immediate and urgent problem. And after over 6 weeks of running through rural America, I found myself in a small city with no convenient cornfields to hide in, so I needed a real toilet. So I looked around and I spotted a convenient pizza joint that looked auspicious. I hoisted my tired legs up the big concrete step to the front door, and I asked the cashier to borrow the bathroom. But she was not impressed with the smear of sunscreen and salt and bugs on my face, nor my pleated Cliff Notes version of my journey so far. And after a long, wasted minute of hemming and hawing, she turned me away. And in my frustration and fatigue, I forgot the big steps I had just climbed. I pivoted into free space, and I crashed hard onto both knees on the concrete sidewalk far below. And I thought to myself, is this how it's going to end? Really? After so many days of relentless running on this road? Just as it ended 4 years ago on my last Trans-USA run attempt, crying on a sidewalk with a wrecked knee. And a flood of memories flashed through my mind. When I first bought a one-way ticket to California 4 years prior, I had underestimated the challenge. I started in San Francisco, naively running down the eucalyptus-lined boulevards on day 1. But by day 2, I was already overwhelmed as I slogged through California's hot Central Valley and through the thin air of Yosemite's high mountain passes. I had suffered excruciating shin splints on Nevada's rumble-stripped highways. I shivered through Utah's chilly canyons in the pre-dawn hours and dodged an endless parade of cement trucks on its shoulderless highways in the hot afternoons. I was stalked by a mountain lion. I battled 50-mile-per-hour headwinds through most of Colorado, and I entered Nebraska in a fog so thick I couldn't see 10 feet in front of my face. And as I finally crossed the Mississippi River, I had tears of homesickness streaming down my face after so many lonely days of solo running. And then, with less than a week to go, I took a wrong step in eastern Ohio, my right knee buckled under me, and suddenly, just like that, my run had been over. Through the long drive of shame home and the months spent recovering from surgery and learning how to walk again, that cross-country run played on a repeat loop in my brain. And every time I was rolling down any road, my eyes were on the shoulder, thinking, how could I place my feet? So when I finally earned another sabbatical last fall, despite the vivid, hard memories of my previous attempt, I couldn't shake the dream. I bought another one-way ticket to California and set out to try again. But this time, I had more social support. A sisterhood of 6 amazing human beings tag-teamed to help me through all of the emotional highs and lows and physical challenges of the journey. My faithful crew chief, Jill, befriended families and businesses along the way. And as we traversed that same 20-mile stretch dodging cement trucks in Utah, she charmed the workers at Ash Grove Cement, and they gave us free Wi-Fi and breakfast burritos, and even a reflective vest that kept me safe the rest of the way across the country. And although I was terrified to put myself out there after such a devastating failure 4 years prior, I posted my daily reflections on social media, and a growing response showed me the collective energy behind me, pushing me forward through every grueling hour of every exhausting day. And one friendly couple sent me an encouraging word of the day for every letter of the alphabet: amazing, believe, courageous, And when they got to day 27, they started over with foods. Yes. Chocolate cake, deviled eggs, eclairs. It forced Jill to be creative in the tiny RV kitchen. And just over the last 3 rainy days in Pennsylvania, as I had stood forlorn and lost and damp on a hilltop, a friendly gentleman had invited me into his warm home and pointed me in the right direction. And a student brought me Mr. Rogers' favorite burnt almond donuts from Pittsburgh. A local pilot flew his small plane over my head, snapping aerial photographs. And my daughter's friends sent crayon signs urging, "Run, Jenny, run." So there, on that sidewalk, outside that pizza joint, with swollen knees and bloodied hands, I found another gear. I might have peed in my pants, but I picked myself up and continued stiffly towards my goal. And as I crossed that penultimate state of New Jersey, I finally understood something of the character Gollum, operating with a single thought, a single destination, a single craving dominating my mind. New York City Hall, my precious. And suddenly, in the dark, there were lights flashing and horns blaring, and a police escort arranged by a friend surrounded me and accompanied me to the George Washington Bridge, where a small crowd awaited and flowed with me across the bridge into Manhattan. And as our pack streamed down those last 12 miles, we picked up followers like the Pied Piper, strangers and friends from all epochs of my life, from kindergarten to high school, from childhood summer camps to college crew team, to former and current students and science collaborators, and even my own children. And when I finally arrived and touched the steps of New York City Hall, more than a week under the world record pace, fulfilling a lifelong dream, I thought, every human being deserves one magical moment like this, surrounded by so much love. Thank you.